All right, well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's John Gator coming to you live from Wellington, and looking forward to having the opportunity to share with you guys some of the things that we have going on. And so, do want to go ahead and kick right into things. So, on our agenda today, we're going to be covering a few different things, but we're going to start off with going over the upcoming agenda for the board meeting that will be happening this Tuesday. We're also going to be talking about the new water survey and frequently asked question pages that are live now. And then we will also be going over the upcoming town hall that is actually happening tomorrow. So I do want to go over that with you guys and then share a few things that have been brought up to me by different citizens I've talked to and had conversations with throughout the week. So as always, if you have any questions, I'd look forward to chatting with you guys. Feel free to throw those into the chat box. And I look forward to chatting with you. As always, I do like to start things off by just clarifying, even though I am a trustee of the town of Wellington, I do not speak for the Board of Trustees. I do not speak for the town. I speak only for myself. So everything that I do share here on our live stream, this is just simply my opinion. So I do look forward to the opportunity to share with you guys and to cover some different things that we're going to go over. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get things started here. And making sure that things are working here. All right, and let's get into our first page here with the agenda that's coming up. So for the agenda coming up here, we are going to be having an executive session at the end of our meeting coming up this Tuesday. I will cover that with you guys when we get there. But to start things off, the first action item that we are going to have on the agenda is the annexation agreement and development agreement with Poudre School District. My understanding is that the staff recommendation on that is going to be that we actually push that off to the, I think, a following meeting. So there will be a delay in us actually approving that annexation. So we will be getting a little bit of an update as to what exactly is going on with that. So, and I don't know if there is a problem with the video. It looks like there is some issue with the video. So if I am standing there frozen on the screen, I apologize for that, but I will continue to kind of walk you guys through things. So I'm not sure what is going on with my camera there. But moving on from the annexation agreement, the next item that we will have is going to be our raw water dedication fee in lieu rates. And so we're going to be getting a presentation, and the board will actually be voting on whether we approve a change in our water policy. And so the way that that works right now is when there is new development, developers are required to bring raw water rights for the town that are based on the development that's going to be built. And there has been a policy in place that allows developers to actually provide just cash in lieu of water. So if it is difficult or they are having a hard time with finding the raw water, they are able to actually go through and just do the cash in lieu. And so what this is actually going to be looking at making a very substantial update to those rates to actually bring those numbers back in line with what our current cost of water is. So I would just say for you guys to be on the lookout for that. We'll be having some discussion about that. That was discussed at our, I believe it was at our work session. Last month we did go through that and cover that, so there will be some further discussion that will go over that as well. And then after that, we are going to be having a discussion around the update to the municipal code. That's item number 3 on the agenda. And my understanding on this is it's actually going to be just an update to the special meetings. And the idea behind this is that it really gives an opportunity for as of right now, it actually requires town staff to go out and to physically come to each trustee and hand deliver a copy of the agenda with the meeting notice, which does take up a substantial amount of town staff time. And so with today's day and age and the ability that we have to actually go forward and to do this with, that's what I'm looking for, but through email or electronically, the idea is to actually maximize the use of our town staff's time so that they're not having to physically hand deliver each item as they come through. So that's something that we'll be updating some things with that as well. So that will be item number 3. And then for item number 4, we are going to be, actually, that's all the action items. Then we're going to be moving on to our liquor license review board. And for the liquor license review board, we are going to be have 2 renewals that we will be covering. So normally, or not normally, these are quasi-judicial issues. And in the past, those have all been items that have required an in-person meeting. And so I believe it was at our last board meeting of July that we did actually update the town code with our special meeting section to allow this to actually happen online. So we will be doing the liquor license review board for both Papa's Table as well as for Loaf and Jug. And so those items will both be on there. And then we will come back from the liquor license review board and we will come back into the board meeting. We will be having a report from the town attorney on a citizen initiative update. So he's just going to be providing an update to the board in the town. We, as I understand, have 2 citizen initiatives that are ongoing, and he'll be just providing an update on what that process is, what that looks like, and just potentially answering any questions that either the board or citizens may have in regards to what that looks like or how that will work. And so then following that, we are going to be having a discussion on economic development. There was an item that was on an agenda from our last board meeting that was pulled, so we'll actually be having a discussion on the board as the direction that we want to go in regards to economic development. And so that will be happening there on the town administrator update. Then we'll have the staff communications as well as any board commentary that would come in would be there as well. And so those are the items we have there. And then we will be having an executive session also, and that will be coming in, and we will be discussing, let me pull this up so we can read more clearly. So basically we will be having a conference with negotiators where the local board is allowed by section 24-6-402 for the purpose of determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategies for negotiations, and instructing negotiators relative to the needs to lease or acquire additional space for new town facilities. And so just as a clarification, so the board does have the ability to do executive sessions for a very limited number of things. And among those are instructing negotiations. So if we're going into, say, for example, last year there was a situation where the town board did purchase a piece of property. And so when they were going into discussions to instruct the town administrator as to how to go about what they're willing to pay, pricing, things like that, that's obviously something that's not appropriate to have in the public arena. And so that's something where they would go in and have that discussion, instruct them on negotiations. And so that is the same area that we will be going into those discussions here as well. And so that would be the executive session. And again, the executive session is separate from the normal meetings where those meetings are not open to public. That is for the board and specific town staff and the town attorney only. And those meetings are also required to be very focused on a specific set of issues. They are not open to just general discussion. So the board can't just talk about whatever they want. They can only talk about a very specific set of things. So that is going to be the setup that we have for that. And then that is all that we have on the agenda. It is a fairly light meeting, it looks like, as far as the things that were being done. As I mentioned, the annexation agreement will probably be getting pushed to a further meeting. And then we'll be voting on the water cash and lieu rates as well as the changes to the municipal code. And then we'll have the liquor license board. So if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer those. Again, I do apologize for the video that keeps going off on me here. I'm not sure what it is doing today, but it is not working. So I'm just going to leave it off so it doesn't keep freezing. But kind of going into the next item that I have on a list to cover with you guys is I did want to cover the water survey and the frequently asked questions. And so it is up on the town webpage. You'll see on the front page there. Let me go find it. We have a lot of things that are kind of working their way across our headlines here, so trying to find the correct one. Oh, almost there. There we go. So the water rate increase survey. So we've talked about this before. The board has been in discussions about this for several months now. in addressing the need for the water and dealing with the issues that we've been running into on that. And so with the utility rate survey, what this is an opportunity to kind of put some of the issues out there, to give the public a chance to respond, and then the town staff is going to be correlating all of that information. Last I heard, we have several hundred responses already. My hope is that we will get even more, but the staff will be collating that information, getting it together, and then actually presenting that information to the town board as we try to figure out what are we going to do as far as the rates, what is the right direction to go, what is the right steps for us to take. And so that's something that we're going to be covering with that. And then in addition to that, so on this page, when you click on that, it's the utility rate update. You'll see right there at the top is we also are having a virtual town hall on the 10th of August at 6 p.m. So that's going to be Monday evening at 6 p.m. So that's tomorrow. And I highly encourage you to try to participate in that. And so there will actually be a presentation from Tyler Sexton, our interim finance director, who will be covering the information and going over things. And then there will be opportunity for the citizens to present questions, and then town staff and the board will do the best that we can to answer those questions. Our goal is to have staff as prepared as we possibly can, and to be prepared ourselves so that we can answer questions that people do bring up during that town hall. So really, again, another opportunity for us to engage with the public, to explain some of the background behind why are we doing what we're doing, what are some of the issues, what are some of the concerns, what's happening, and what's driven us to how did we, and I guess really the question is, how did we get to the point where we are now, where we're having to make these decisions, where we're having to do such drastic changes? What led up to that? And so that really is one of our goals, is to really be able to explain that very well for the citizens. And then below that, you'll see the link to the water survey, that you can click that link and take the survey. The deadline for that is the 24th of August, again, to give their staff time to get that all put together and then sent out to the board. And then the water rate increase presentations. This is probably one of the most important things that you should know, and it's kind of hidden here in the middle, but this actually allows you to go in and to view the different presentations that the board has been presented throughout the year in regards to this. So if you did miss a board meeting or you didn't see the presentation, you do actually have the ability to come through here and actually open that up. And so you can just click on that. It will download the PowerPoint, and you'll be able to kind of go through and see the different models, the different options, and then also this bottom one, the water rate study. This really gives an update as to excuse me, but as to some of the concerns and issues that we've been running across that are driving this decision from a financial standpoint, and what is the position of the town's funds and finances, what does that look like, and what's really driving us to have to make this move. And then below is the frequently asked questions. And so the goal is, as we do get questions from citizens, and as those do come in, as we're trying to come up with answers to those. So if there is a question that's asked that is a more in-depth question, or a question that staff may not have the answer to, the goal is that right here on this web page, our staff will go, they'll get the answer to that question, and then they will post the question as well as the response. And so you'd be able to actually go through and to click and to see what are those questions, and then what are some of those responses that we've had there. So you can see there'll be a list, and the idea is that this list will grow and get larger as we're able to add more of those questions in. So hopefully that helps you guys to see a little bit about that, but I did want to make sure to cover that because I know a lot of people have had a lot of questions, and our goal is to really have them collated in one place so that we're not guessing as to where those questions are, what are the answers. We really want to make sure that we're able to get that information out to you. All right, and then the next item that I wanted to cover was just a few conversations that have come up in the last week or so with different citizens, and a lot of it really has been around the water and why are we going the direction that we are going. And I really hope you guys are able to join us tomorrow, because that really is a lot of the goal, is education, to help if you haven't had the opportunity to sit in on some of the board meetings, to hear some of the presentations, and to review the information that we're going through, the goal is that you really will get that opportunity to see that information in the town hall. So I would encourage you guys to join us for that, and to really get some of the information, and then to be able to ask questions as well. And again, our goal is to be able to answer those questions as we can. So there's been a lot of questions with that. I know that there were some questions that are concerns that were brought up in regards to the bulk water station being having the hours changed to just during the weekdays. And I know that that has been a challenge for some people because obviously the hours have been changed. And I know we are trying to keep that open. I know I did have some of this conversation earlier today with a couple of individuals. And really the concern that we've had was obviously with the water restrictions and everything, there was previously discussion that, well, would the best solution just to be once we repair the bulk water dispenser to just leave that off to help with reducing some of the water demand. And there was a lot of concerns that were brought to the board by the citizens. And the board really took that to heart. Town staff took that to heart. We went back to the drawing board and said, okay, can we find a way to make this work to where we can still keep that bulk water dispenser operational? Once it's repaired, we can get it back up and running, and we can really make sure that people are getting the water that they need. And so part of what came up with that as well, if we just take and keep it to simply doing the residential water, we don't allow construction water use, and we set it to a specific time range to help with the peak demand, that we should be able to keep that up and operational. And so they did adjust the hours and set to certain times and did put those restrictions for no construction use. Unfortunately, we did have companies coming in for construction and actually starting to use the bulk water dispenser once it was repaired. And so as things stand right now, we did have to adjust the hours of operations to go to Monday through Friday, so that town staff can monitor that use and make sure that we are not having any issues with use of water that should not be happening. And so I know that has been a frustration for several citizens. I understand it's an inconvenience for that to be that way, and I wish that there was another way for us to handle that, but we really do want to make sure that we are able to keep that on. And so we are, unfortunately, we'd have to change the hours of that again, but it is still operational, and we have been able to get that up and running. So with that, that is all I had to cover for today. I know I've been having technical difficulties on my end, so if you have been putting comments in chat and I haven't answered them, it's not that I'm ignoring you. It may completely just be my computer. So I will take a moment. If you do have any questions, feel free to throw them into chat. If you have been throwing questions into chat and I haven't been responding to them, again, I do apologize for that. I am not ignoring you in the least, but my computer is deciding not to work very well today. So with that, just a reminder, I mentioned this last week, but moving forward, I will actually be moving the time of this up to 3:30 p.m. and having that opportunity to wrap things up a little bit earlier, with the goal going from 3:30 to 4, so we'll just be moving forward a half an hour on Sundays. So with that, I'm just going to wrap things up. I look forward again, encourage you guys to come join us on Sunday, or not Sunday, on Monday, the 10th at 6 p.m. And again, that link is on the town utility rate updates page, and join us for that town hall, and also look forward to seeing you guys on Tuesday. Have a great rest of the day,